You're watching the Alabama Weather Network.
Here's your weather briefing for this Saturday morning, October the 18th. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray here in the Alabama Weather Network Weather Center. And we've got a severe weather threat for the overnight hours tonight into early Sunday morning across parts of Alabama. So let's jump right into it. The SPC New Day 1 includes really the western half of Alabama now. The western counties along the Mississippi border there are now in the slight risk, that level 2 out of 5, indicated in yellow there. Just the very sliver of the border counties. A large section now of Alabama in the marginal risk, level 1 out of 5. It goes over to I-65. It really splits the state about halfway. That goes through 7 a.m. Sunday morning. The day 2, which includes Sunday, goes through parts of South Alabama. We'll see that in just a minute. The satellite radar this morning shows just some high cloudiness across the state, nothing really significant. Just a few light showers back in southern Mississippi early this morning, nothing going on across our state. Low temperatures so far across Alabama, only 50s really up in the northeastern part of the state up on Lookout Mountain. A few places like Birmingham had a hard time getting below 70. So far today across the country, things are pretty tranquil. Some frost and freeze advisories there in parts of the Plain States, areas of eastern Colorado, Nebraska, back through Kansas. Some winter weather advisories up in parts of the Rockies, Montana. But really, things pretty quiet. Some rip current advisories along the Gulf Coast, the east coast of Florida, in that area. But we're starting to see those frost advisories. Today is the earliest freeze recorded ever in Birmingham. You see that frontal system there kind of lined up from western Texas into Chicago. That's going to be our next weather maker here. High pressure centered there near Myrtle Beach will be losing its control as a big trough sweeps out of the plains today. It's getting its act together right now. This is our severe weather outlook covering areas to the west of Alabama, predominantly all of Arkansas, back into eastern Oklahoma, northeastern Texas, northern Louisiana, good bit of Mississippi, western Tennessee, western Kentucky, southern Illinois. Tomorrow you see that risk shifts eastward, includes parts of South Alabama, the Panhandle, into southwestern Georgia, also good bit of the mid-Atlantic states there up into the northeast, Ohio Valley, that's where we'll be watching. There is a bit of a flash flood threat today into West Alabama. That's hard to believe with us having this drought. Really am not concerned about that. Parts of West Alabama, you get some heavy rain very quickly, and we could see 1 to 1.25 inches of rain fall pretty fast with this line of storms. That flash flood threat shifts to the eastern lakes tomorrow. Let's kind of walk through what's going to happen over the next 48 hours using our Barron in-house model. Could see a light shower today in this increasing southerly flow. You're going to see your winds picking up, gusting at times 15, 20 miles an hour. But those showers, if they do develop, are going to be extrememly isolated and very light. Temperatures are going to be warm again today. Your skies will be partly cloudy to at least partially sunny. Temperatures rising into the middle and upper 80s across the area. We have 3 big ball games in the state today, and they're all occurring about the same time. UNA hosting a game up in Florence, 6 o'clock. Tuscaloosa 6:30, Auburn 6:45. These games are going to be fine from a rain and lightning standpoint. No problems in your tailgating, and you shouldn't have any trouble during the games. You really only effect on the players is going to be the wind. Going to have some pretty strong south and south-southwest winds, gusting occasionally 15, 20 miles an hour during the games, and that could affect the kicking games. You see, moving it up to 10 o'clock, we really haven't had any problems at either at any of the stadiums. UAB, of course, has a game today at 3 at Protective Stadium in Birmingham, and you saw that's going to be fine. Now, by 10 o'clock, we're looking to the west. The line of storms is approaching I-55. I think by that time we're going to have watches and warnings to our west in Mississippi, western Tennessee. Of course, we'll be here in the Weather Center watching that very closely. And I want to remind you, we will be live for any tornado warnings that occur, of course, in the state of Alabama, because we cover all 67 counties, and we also cover that stripe of counties in eastern Mississippi that borders our counties in Alabama. So that stripe of counties from Tishomingo all the way down to Jackson County in southeast Mississippi, we will be watching those as well for tornado warnings. And we'll be, giving you frequent updates through the night with severe thunderstorm warnings too. Breaking in when we have those, and also, giving you frequent updates every 15 or 30 minutes. Now, by midnight, the line of thunderstorms is moving into West Alabama. It's in parts of Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, Marion, Lamar, Pickens counties, approaching Tuscaloosa. So here between 12 and 2, it's going to be affecting places like Coleman and Double Springs, Jasper, Tuscaloosa, Demopolis, getting ready to approach Thomasville, moving into the Birmingham metro area here between 2 and 4, Gadsden, Anniston, Alex City, Clanton, Alabaster, Selma, down to Monroeville, Thomasville, over to Chatham. Then between 4 and 6, the system will be moving into places like Auburn and Troy, down into Greenville and Andalusia, into Atmore, Mobile, and moving into the city of Mobile. Then by 8 and 10 a.m. it'll be moving into places like Eufaula and Troy and Geneva, Dothan, pushing out of Gulf Shores into Pensacola, into Navarre, Fort Walton, over to Panama City. Now, of course, we've got a huge race tomorrow at Talladega. The events today will be fine. You're going to be, partially sunny, temperatures in the 80s, just perfect weather. A little breezy. Be careful with any flags, the normal things that go along with activities at Talladega. But especially around power lines. But be very, very careful with that sort of stuff. But tonight, make sure you got a way to receive warnings. The best way, is a NOAA Weather Radio, an app. Our Alabama Weather Network app, you can get it in the App Store, is a great way because it co-locates you and lets you know. You can turn on specific Weather Service apps, warnings. Make sure you've got that tool available to you. But then tomorrow at 1 o'clock, this is that time when the race will be dropping the green flag. And you see a few spotty showers. There could be, a couple of delays, but they'll get the race in. That will not be the problem. It will be very windy tomorrow. Temperatures in the 70s. That will help with any drying of the track. But we'll be back in the 40s and 50s Monday morning. And that will be, that air mass change will feel quite good. Now, kind of analyzing the severe weather potential with this thing. There's just no instability at 11 o'clock at midnight in west central and northwest Alabama. Now, having said that, there's a strong low-level jet. So, you've seen this before, these, low cape, high shear events, and this is not really a very high shear event, but, any storm that can get its act together is going to have the ability to get damaging wind gusts to the ground. So we'll be watching that. There's an extremely low risk of a tornado. It's not zero, but it's not very high either. Now, as we go toward about 2 a.m., you see there's a little better instability there in southwest Alabama. So I'm going to be watching those areas really from about, Sumter, Choctaw, down Dallas and Perry, back through Washington and Clark into Monroe, Mobile and Baldwin. We'll kind of keep a really close eye on those areas because they may become, prime areas for, some damaging wind gusts, possibly into perhaps Connecticut and Escambia, and then, maybe even over into Covington, Coffee in these areas as we get into the early morning hours. Now, I think that combination of instability and shear wanes as we get into the later morning hours. So that window is probably there between about 4 a.m. and 9 a.m. in South Alabama, but we'll watch that. This is one of our products, this updraft Talladega, and this is not going to say exactly where the strongest storms are going to be, but it kind of gives you an idea of where they might be contained. Could we have a severe storm in central or north Alabama? Yes, but you see the chances are just less. South Alabama, there's going to be 2 or 3 or 4, and they're going to be generally south of US 80. That's the idea. Now, we're all going to be ready, in the monitored area there that you saw from the SPC, and we'll be watching all night because anything can happen because, as we always say, when it comes to storms in Alabama, expect the unexpected. These are not heights. I'm sorry, I should have changed that. These are winds. The strongest winds are to the north. Again, we've got the instability to the south, the winds to the north. That's good. We like to keep those things separated. The best instability is not where the best shear is, and that's a great thing, but there's going to be some overlap of those parameters in South Alabama. Now, the good news is that the rain will come in and help slow down the worsening of the drought. Now we're looking at, maybe an inch of rain in places like Atmore, Monroeville, Mobile, Thomasville, Demopolis. We need the rain very, very badly. Most everybody now west of I-65 gets 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch, and that's not going to break the drought, but it will help. Areas east of I-65, only a half inch, unfortunately. But, we're going to get into a really dry air mass next week, and that is going to worsen the drought and the fire danger. Now, and you see just a series of progression of troughs that are going to bring, reinforcing shots of cooler, drier air and some storminess to Alabama over the next couple of weeks. This is the next, 5 days showing, by Sunday, drier air moving into Alabama, high pressure there centered near Texarkana. It moves into near Jacksonville by Monday night. You see a reinforcing shot of not colder, but drier air moving through Tuesday. It does not look like it has any precipitation with it, but that will just serve to reinforce the air mass over Alabama for Wednesday, Thursday. And as we go through the long term, this is Thursday, the 24th. This is Friday. It looks like we get another system in here by the weekend. We'll be watching the Caribbean because it looks like we may have a tropical storm or hurricane, Melissa, there south of the Dominican Republic, perhaps Puerto Rico. That looks like Dominican Republic on this latest run, southeastern Bahamas, no threat to the Gulf. Moving on out, that system in the center of the United States is going to keep that from happening. But it looks like a big upper low could be forming there up around Cleveland by October 30th. That keeps us cool and maybe a little bit damp with another system around November 2nd. So that's kind of the long-range look. Your 7-day for North Alabama, those late-night storms tonight, morning rain tomorrow. I don't think there's any chance of rain Tuesday. I think we'll pull that out of there. Maybe a 20% chance of rain with that weekend system coming Friday. But highs in the lower 70s are going to be quite a breath of fresh air after all the 80s we've had. Have to worry about a little bit of frost by Thursday morning. May have to revise those temperatures down just a bit. But you'll see some 40s in there all week which will be quite nice. South Alabama, 40s by Thursday morning. That'll be good. And then 50s all the other mornings there starting Monday. 80s for the highs. Those are going to feel quite good, really right around 80. Maybe a couple of days where you're in the 70s. So you'll kind of take that. Of course, we'll be watching the weather very closely here throughout the afternoon, through the day, the afternoon, into the overnight, and all day Sunday on the Alabama Weather Network. That's what we do. That's what we're here for. Notes on the blog in just a few minutes. Frequent updates throughout the day. I'm meteorologist Bill Murray in the Alabama Weather Network Weather Center.